Well, welcome to the bench. Happy Monday to everybody. I hope you're having a great day. Had a slight change in plans. I am going to do a string change and setup on that Daragon acoustic guitar. I believe it's made in Canada. Beautiful instrument. But today, I'm going to, and this morning, I'm going to get back to a Paul Reed Smith that I got in last week. Both of these guitars belong to students of mine, which is really cool. One of them plays primarily acoustic guitar, but he's joined a band who's doing heavier metal style of music. And this is his instrument right here. We'll get you a good shot of this thing. Here she is. Paul Reed Smith. It's a 22 fret version. It got slammed on some concrete. Give you a good look at what these injury looks like. Here are the one impact and then a second impact. So I'm guessing dude got really pissed off, or possibly and this didn't happen when my student owned the guitar. This was something that happened prior to him obtaining the instrument. So he bought it, got a very, very good price on it, and it took a couple. This thing hit the floor, probably concrete or carpet covered concrete. So it's beat pretty bad. So what happened was the guitar was cracked right here between the route point for the bridge pickup and the router point for the saddle bridge. And so it was cracked here, so I had to repair that crack first, is what I did, my order of operations. And you'll notice maybe here is another crack, and this is a crack that I believe is just in the finish because it's going across the grain of the wood, so I don't believe that that is a wood crack. Plus I was able to push and manipulate this top to see if it would open, and it didn't. So I'm pretty certain that that is just a crack in the finish. And then on the back of the instrument, this is where the main damage occurred, and this is it right here, which I have glued that back together again, got it all aligned, and we're not going to do any cosmetic repairs on this. And so I was able to get this to clamp together and then clamp down. I got good glue penetration all the way through. You can see that it was cracked all the way through to the neck pocket. This crack here, if you can see that, hopefully my camera is picking that up, is just, again, another finish crack. So nothing to worry about with respect to that. I was able to move this and manipulate it to see if it was actually cracked through the wood, and it's not. That's solid, so there's just a little bit of finish damage there. So this morning I have put the neck back on the guitar, reinstalled the pickup, and reinstalled the bridge on this guitar. And I'm moving forward with replacing the parts that I've removed off of this, and we're getting awful darn close. And forgive me if you've commented and I haven't responded yet, because I'm going to stay real busy on this thing. The machine heads were rusty, and it's the old style Paul Reed Smith locking machine heads. So we'll get to, I don't work on these very often, you don't see them too often, but I've oiled all of that to kind of bring them back to life. They had a little bit of a, I'm guessing that this guitar lived its life in a fairly damp environment for a while, and so there's some markings on these that appeared to be rust. And also, you can't swap these out. If you put the ones on the bass side of the strings on the treble side, they'll be backwards. So here's what I've done when I removed them was I wrote bass on these ones, so I know that they go on the bass side of the strings, and treble on the other ones. And I used some tape to hold all the parts together, because lots of little tiny parts and pieces in this stuff. And I'm getting them opened up here. And what we're going to do is put these back on the instrument. But before I do that, I'm going to run a little 3-in-1 oil in here. Let me get you up here where you can see the business at hand. Boy. So here are the machine heads. Hopefully my camera guy is doing a good job. So I'm just going to hit each one of these with a little 3-in-1 oil. I'm not worried about making a mess or getting oil on the instrument. We'll clean all that off later, but I want to get the threads nice and oiled, and then I'm going to put a little drop of oil on each of these to get them all lubed up and get this thing back in good working order. The potential is that this young man is going to be gigging with this guitar, and I want it to work properly for him. He is a student of mine, a wonderful young man, and so I got to make this thing right. So here we go. So getting these parts put back on here, and these little pieces, boy, you lose one of those, look out. So again, I recommend if you're working on your own guitar and you're pulling pieces off it and such, put them in a plastic bag, or do like I've done on this one, and that is to put some tape and keep all the parts and pieces together. Oh boy, stereo whoa-whoas. Leaving all this stuff up. One more, and we can get on with bigger and better things on this thing. Again, I'm just putting a little bit of oil on these to try and impede any rust, interrupt it from getting any worse. And they look a lot nicer with a little bit of fresh oil on them. They look pretty sweet. We've gotten oil down in the threads where this set screw goes. Go. Wipe them down with the rag. I apologize if you were hoping to see an acoustic guitar setup at the moment, but we're going to get this one going today. So I've got a couple more items that I want to address on this guitar before I get strings on it. That is to check the electronics. We'll do that real quick. And then we will start stringing her up and getting her tuned up. This thing's going to be tuned to C standard. And it should allow him to maybe do some drop C or drop, what would it be, B flat tuning, I suppose. Get all these looking nice and tidy. I'm just using 3-in-1 oil on this, sewing machine oil, if you will. All right, looking real good. The headstock's looking nice. And one other thing I did on this instrument to really help it out is on the back of the neck on this one, there was a lot of it almost appeared like glue had gotten dripped on this thing, like CA glue. And so I went over this whole neck with some 600 grit sandpaper. It didn't go down through the finish, but you can see this thing's been played a lot. Somebody wore the finish off of the back of the neck, so this guitar has definitely been played a lot. So while we're back here and got it flipped over, we're going to go ahead and get in here and just hit the electronics with a little bit of lube and contact cleaner, combined product that I use. So we'll just shoot a little shot in here. Does not take much. You don't want to go crazy with this stuff. You make a big mess. Just a couple little shots. There we go. And this one is a sealed pot, so I don't have a way to get the cleaner in there, but flip it over and roll them. There we go. Looking real good, feeling good. It feels nice and smooth. That'll help get that cleaning agent in there and get the pot all cleaned up. Yeah, there we go. That's how I do that. And then you know, I'd like to roll them a bunch of times. Take your time with this stuff. If you got pots that are crackling or whatever, this method is time tested and proven. Ask me how I know. I'm not a fan of this type of pickup selector switch. I like to throw a switch, and this but this is a 5-position switch, and you can see the complexity of the what is that, circuit board in here. Fortunately on this one it's labeled copyright PRS switch other side. Okay, so that's what that says. 0498 is a part number. It goes treble, bass. There we go. And the wiring and job in this is really pretty nice. There's a little bit of a fabric from the stiffener and the wiring in here. It's all looking pretty good. I have a little cap here on the volume pot for this one, and a cap here. I believe this is a volume and tone control. I don't know 100%. We'll know when we fire it up. And we'll go ahead and plug it in and make sure it's actually working now, and see if we have any problems. I gotta get my my guitar cable out. Let's see what happens when we plug this bad boy in. The output jack feels really nice. Let me get the lid back on my... Trying to keep stuff organized and clean while I'm progressing through the reverberation of this guitar. Hello Josh Harris. Hello Scotty Dog. Cool. Excellent. Hello Richard Falcro. Scotty Dog, right on. I appreciate that. Hopefully you learned something. That's what this is all about. You know, I realize that the live streams for doing this kind of work can be kind of long and drawn out, which is why not a lot of guys do this live. And if you make a mistake, you kind of have to swallow your pride in some cases. So I'm going to clean this really well before I put strings on it, of course. I have, I took the bridge and put it in my jewelry cleaner and got all the guck out of this. This is, I wish you could have seen it beforehand, but that stuff doesn't really matter that much. But it looks really nice now. The thing lived a pretty dirty life up till this point. Let's turn on our amp. And we'll see if we got volume. Yes. So all right, so the electronics seem to work just fine. The volume control is working just fine. Let's check it on both pickups. Okay. I'm being real gentle with my screwdriver. I'm not beating the tar out of it. And let's check. The tone control is working just fine. No bumps or beeps or other noises. Oh yeah. The tone pot. tone circuit is kind of odd on this bridge pickup, but seems to be working. And I'm just going to wipe it down with some water for now, and we'll see if we can't shine these up a little bit, get some dust off of here. I just got a wet rag. I don't know if my camera guy got all that stuff in the picture, but we'll hope he's doing his job right today. Isn't it fun watching somebody clean a guitar? I say half my time is spent cleaning guitars when they're in for service like this. This thing had some serious damage to it, obviously, but now it's all back in one piece, and I'm feeling good about the repairs that I've done on this. And we will really find out how it does once I get strings on it and put some tension on the neck and all of that. So just wiping off my little bit of moisture from the water. Beautiful guitar. Love the color. Just a nice bright orange. I'm not a real, guitar, bling guitar, connoisseur. I see so many of them, it doesn't really matter to me, but this one's got a really cool orange color to it, so I really enjoy this one. It's kind of cool. Checking the strap buttons are all nice and tight. Before I put the machine heads back together again, the locking machine heads, I was certain to tighten down anything that could be tightened on those. I've polished the frets and treated the fingerboard with linseed oil already, so that's all done. And we'll see if we can't make this bad boy shine a little bit better. It's been dulled up from years of playing, and you'll notice the chunk getting chunky with this thing. So the thing has definitely had the hell played out of it for sure. It's been played a lot, which really makes me proud. This guitar has lived a good life so far, and it's about to live a new one. I'm really excited about that. And the young man who owns this, he's a very studious student of mine. He's learning theory, scales, and modes. He's already a pretty damn good guitar player. He can play some blues licks and wind around in key and play really good phrases. I don't think he's certainly not a professional player by any stretch of the imagination, but boy, he could turn into one. He's a good looking kid too. So hopefully he'll be a rock star someday and I can live vicariously through him. We'll see what happens with all that. Alright. So we're all done cleaning. I'm going to flip her over and clean the back side of this guitar. And we need to reinstall the springs in this one. My recollection was they fit really tight. I'm almost out of guitar polish here. So I use the Dunlop 65 polish. I like it. Does a good job. Honestly, it doesn't do a whole lot more, in my humble opinion, than, say, just a moist rag. But it smells good. So if you got a stinky guitar, that stuff might help. A lot of them do stink because you sweat all over them, and that stuff stays there for years, probably, without ever being cleaned. So there we go with the back of this thing, and I'm going to hit the neck one more time. I'll get you up here where you can see. Just wiping it down real good. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Alright, let's go ahead and see if we can get our springs back on here. And we're going to do a... I'm going to start by using 3 springs on this one. It had 4 springs on it, but I'm going to go ahead and install 3 to start with, and we'll see how that feels for him, and then we'll move on from there. 3 springs usually gives you a pretty good feel for the bar. Where's my hammer? Oh, it's where it doesn't belong. It got borrowed. Here it is. If you borrow someone's tools, put them back where they came from. This isn't always necessary when you put springs back, but the impact that this thing took when somebody smacked it on the floor, it possibly bent these things. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I'm gonna go ahead and unplug this thing. And all of these 6 pivot screws were bent pretty badly. So I had to take my hammer and straighten those out as best I could. And they all went in nice and straight, so I feel good about that. Alright, so at this point, I'm going to grab a bar, and let's see if I've got a bar that'll fit in here. And of course, you know, if you take a guitar into a repair shop, be sure to include the tremolo bar. Yeah, that feels pretty nice. I'm able to move it with this bar, and we may just replace this with this particular bar. I don't know what this came off of. I have no idea. It's been ground down, and we may just use that one in the end. Okay, so let's go ahead and get some strings on this. First thing I want to do though is check the truss rod. Where is my? This should be the wrench. It is. So we're going to take a look up here at the truss rod and see what kind of shape this neck is in. We'll get you up here where you can see what I'm up to here. This probably has a specialized Paul Reed Smith neck scale. Yeah, it's not Fender or Gibson, and probably not. Well, maybe it's a 24.5. No, is it a 25? It is. It's a 25-inch scale. And I think I may have already done this because this neck is perfectly flat. I don't recall. It was several days ago that I took the neck off and did a little bit of work on it. So we've got a perfectly flat neck. We're going to go ahead and I want to check this truss rod. Yeah. Truss rod is working just fine. All right, so let's string this bad boy up. Again, I hope everybody's having a great Monday. Hello, Dana. Welcome. Let's see. Marshall, do you feel the PRS is better than a Gibson? That's a great question. I think that is the answer to that is fairly subjective. I don't own a PRS. I do own Gibson guitars, and I love my Gibsons. I believe that Paul Reed Smith, right next to Gibson, is building some really fantastic guitars. They always respond to setup work very well for me. You turn the truss rod, it moves. You change the gauge of strings, you have to readjust stuff just like you would on a Gibson. You put 11s on a Gibson, you got to adjust the truss rod. The same is true for Paul Reed Smiths. So I would voice my opinion and say I think they're fairly equal guitars. Gibson has come under some pretty harsh criticism in the recent years for their quality control and all of that. I don't have an issue like that with any of my Gibsons. Mine have been fantastic from the day I bought them. And again, I don't own a Paul Reed Smith. I did never go there. But I have several friends and clients that own them, and they are fantastic guitars. So hopefully that might answer your question. I offer my opinion, I suppose. They're pretty equal. Yeah, Falcro, you just answered the question about as good as anybody can. Um, no, Gibson, again, they've gotten a bad rep, and I think some of it rightly so. When they destroyed all those guitars, that was a slap in the face to every school, prison, um, elderly care home. They could have given those all to those types of places, and instead they drove over them with a tractor. It's their property. I've destroyed my own shit, but not $1 million worth of guitars. So, Oscar, hello. We're starting with Jasmine, S35. Wow, Argentine strings, cool. I'm not familiar with that. Welcome, my friend. Yeah. So we're going to string this up. We're going to tune it to C standard. So we're going to string it up with 11 gauge Ernie balls. And I don't have the strings right here. Let me go get those real quick. I'll let you adore the beautiful guitar for a moment. And we'll get going with stringing her up. Using your favorite strings, Mike. He's tuning this thing up to
what are they,
11 to 48.
I wonder if I, hey.
I don't know if you want to try a different brand. Well, they're good. Yeah, yeah, okay. Yeah, this is a perfect opportunity for this. Perfect. All right. So we're going to go ahead, rather than Ernie balls, we're going to use Everly rockers on this thing. We have about 3 packs of these left, and we're going to go ahead and use these today, and we'll see how they work on this Paul Reed Smith. We brought some of these Everlys in a while back, and we've had such a high demand for Ernie balls, mostly because I use them on most of my guitar work, that people love them. And the brand of string, I gotta be honest, is not that big of a deal. But people, I think it becomes more mental than it is actual fact that the, D'Addarios or Ernie balls are a better string or whatever. Let's see, we got to string this thing up correctly. Whoop. Here we go. Now I have no idea how this is gonna, when I get it tuned up, I'm gonna have to adjust the, definitely gonna have to adjust the, make sure which one's which. Yeah, here we go. We're gonna have to adjust the claw on this thing, which is common. Again, we're doing a set of 11 to 48s. They're Ernie, or they're Everly strings. This is the part of the show that you might want to grab a beer or a bong. If that's your choice. All right. It's a good way to do it if you have the opportunity to just tip your guitar upside down, feed them all through. Makes that process pretty simple. All right, let's get up here where we're going to be winding the strings. And these fit through there very nicely, and the nut looks really good. So we're going to drop these in here. I can't remember exactly how these work. Let me see. Let's see, do I have to loosen this screw here? I think. Been a while since I've put a set of strings like on one of these types of Hmm. Will these not accept 11 gauge strings? Have to. There we go. Been a while. Been a while since I've put a set of these on an instrument. Can't remember exactly how this works. So you have to roll this. Yeah, they don't. Alright. Nut sauce, yeah. 3-in-1, but I'll keep that Astroglide in mind. Astroglide. Yeah. Now, these are not tuned to pitch by any stretch of the imagination at this point. For me to find a drop C tuning and to hit C, yeah, that's how these work. I remember this now. And as you tighten these up, it uses friction. Whoop. Let's see where C is at. We'll see. No pun intended. Alright, so we're close. Alright, just doing a little preemptive strike there. Alright. And yes, we will be using Big Ben's nut sauce in this. Let's see. There we go.
Let me just see what my guitar guy's doing. Okay. That's why they don't let me talk to customers anymore. Can you help a gentleman with the guitar?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I've already.
Guys, I gotta go sell a guitar, so enjoy the. Not like I have anybody else here can do it. Let's see. Okay, I'll be back.
Marshall kind of runs this whole area for us.
What's happening? Hi. I was just looking at. I used to play guitar a little bit in high school, and then went to college and stopped, and thinking about getting back into it a little bit. Right on. Right. You thinking acoustic? Yeah. Okay. Yep. Well, I obviously have a
ones that you see that have this lighter colored wood generally are going to be spruce. Probably the most popular top on guitars, one of the most popular tops on guitars. But we do have, and you'll notice we do have a lot of mahogany and cedar tops in here. Yeah, let me see. One of the other acoustic stuff here. And, you know, price-wise, we've looked at several different price ranges of guitars. The ones that I've got that are going to be like more affordable and you're not missing anything but bling would be that instrument right there. Now, that does not have a cutaway. And I don't have a problem selling one at all. It's nice to have that at the register. It just plays some easy chords, high notes, sound cool. But those ones are going to be that one, and I only have one of them left of it for a reason. Those things are going to be in, that one's going to start in the 350 to 400 range. And we can pull them down while you're playing and see if one really, you fall in love with one. Different guitars have different voices, of course, you know, so you'll play a chord on one and then play a chord on the other one. And you might as well do it in one sentence. Sure. That's my number one piece of advice I can give you. Just play them. And the other thing is the feel of the guitar. They're like typewriters. No two are alike. So, you know, there's a decision that needs to be made on your part. You sit down and play a couple of them and see which one you really fall in love with. That's what I say. So, of any of these that I've showed you, did any of them just grab you by, you know, like look the appearance of it, or? I think the most important thing you do right now is you put one in your hands and let you play a couple chords. Sure. I'm assuming you know you play a couple chords.
It's been a while.
Refresh your memory on that.
Yeah.
I can help you with that too.
Okay.
And I leave my ego outside that.
Okay.
Yeah, I walk in here, so you know you don't have to play like Mozart.
Okay.
Or Steve Vai.
I've got the one on the wall.
You want to try that one out?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Let me grab a ladder. Check the tune on this thing real quick. You know, there might be a couple of accessories that, you know, if you just, when you take one home with you today, there might be a couple of accessories that you want to get. A tuner, you know, some picks, things like that.
Yeah.
Close. Sounds pretty darn good.
Well, let me get you a
Most folks play in city Thanks.
I can't help customers. I can't even take freight to the shop anymore. Thank
Yeah, we
you.
did that one a little tape first. Fantastic.
Yeah.
And I'm playing with a pick
Sure.
also, which I definitely recommend.
Yeah.
Grab a pick. Don't put them in your pocket. They'll be gone forever. And your dryer will have a pile of them after a couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah, this thing feels. This thing feels really nice. I think I did do a set on this. We had someone interested in buying one, and so we set up a couple of them. Got one, so the spring action, everything will dial in.
Yeah. And what was the price on that? That's the best one.
That's last. Hang on. Right where I said it. That one, the best I can do for you on that one is 250.
250.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And you know that initial investment, and these are absolutely fantastic guitars.
Mhm.
You can spend a whole lot more.
Sure.
You know, and if you feel like that's, like you got a little bit more to spend or whatever, we do have other guitars that might have other options like electronics built in,
Mhm.
plug them in. That's always a nice thing to have. You know, do something like that.
Sure.
You know, we definitely, and it pretty much any of the ones we're looking at are going to go up from that.
Sure.
But those guitars are just,
Yeah.
they're the most affordable, absolutely great guitar that I've got. They are just fantastic.
Yeah. Sound really good. Might think on it for a day.
You want to think about it?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Okay, no, that's fine. I'm happy to show you. If there's any others that are catching your eye, or
That's the same as the darker shade at the top, right?
Yeah.
Like the one almost straight to the left.
Yeah.
Same level.
That's yeah, definitely same level. It's got a little more fanciness to it with bindings and the rosette around the sound hole, and all of that stuff adds up. It's just cosmetic more so than anything.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, basic.
Yeah.
This is one, take it camping with you,
Yeah.
and if it gets a ding on it or whatever, so what? And if it doesn't have dings in it, you're not playing it. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I don't know cranking it too hard, the string goes sharp. And the tuner will tell you you're in tune, but then the moment you mellow out and hit a
Yeah.
soft chord or whatever, get dynamic, your string is now flat.
Yeah.
So there's always techniques to stuff like that. That's some good advice from the gate. Tune like you're playing every string. Sit that string like you're playing a chord. That tune will pick it up and you'll be perfect.
What else? Just come picks.
What's that?
What else do you do besides picks?
Really,
Particular.
you might, you know, if you're gonna be, if you move or traveling, you're gonna be taking a guitar out and about, definitely get a gig bag or a hard case. I always will recommend a hard case over a gig bag.
Sure.
But a gig bag, that way if you're gonna go to visit some friends, you're gonna take your guitar with you, you can put it, and it's not gonna get wet, rained on, stuff. The sun's not gonna hit it. You know, moisture and dirt and heat are this thing's biggest enemies, bar none. All three of those things. So you want to keep them in a pretty stable environment. But again, it's not like just a temperature outside.
Yeah.
So having a gig bag is always a good idea to keep the dust and dirt and moisture off of it when you're moving around. Even if you're not having one there, because you will take it with you sometime.
Yeah.
You know. Also, there are things like guitar stands and wall hangers. I do not recommend if you own a guitar and you put it in the case, you'll never play it because you can't see it. At least that's what my experience has been with most of them. They make wall hangers that will hang like what we've got here.
Sure.
But they make them. All of my guitars, you walk in my living room, it's like a guitar museum.
Yeah.
Every space is full of a guitar, and they're all right there in front of me.
Yeah.
If I want to play it, reach up and grab it.
Yeah.
Guitar with me. So that's always, we have these little wall hangers that mount just screws with sheetrock on them. Does a really good job. You want to hit wood.
Yeah.
That's always a great idea, a little additional thing. Because then when you're done playing, you got a safe place. The other thing, the dog can't get it, the kids can't get it,
Yeah.
and it's always in plain view. Right? That's a good idea, especially when you're learning. Time is your best friend in that case. The more you play, the better you're going to get, the more you're going to grow quickly. Versus you put it in the case, it sits there for 4 days, you pick it up and you're starting all over again. So that sort of stuff, you know, also I do recommend getting an extra set of strings because you're playing along and then doink, you break one. You have an extra set of strings at home, put a new string on it, you don't have to stop playing.
Sure.
You know, it's also a good idea to learn how to put strings on the instrument. I do it for a living here, so I don't mind putting strings on for anything. I put strings on all day long. So and that's a big part of my living here is just doing string changes.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's always an option. Having a spare set, so if you do break one, I recommend that. You'll break one, you stop the tune one. It'll always happen when you're camping,
Yeah.
or, you know, over at a buddy's house playing, and then you think, it never fails.
Yeah.
The worst option. So having an extra set of strings. You know, so total, you know, we do, you know, I'd be willing to throw a set of strings in for you on a tuner. And then, you know, for a gig bag, you're looking at $50 for a bag to put it in. And, you know, if you wanted to go with a hard case, which I highly recommend, that way you can rock the thing and it's going to survive. You know, you're looking at a hard case is going to run you about another $20. So, I mean, I definitely recommend that. So, you know, you're looking in the neighborhood of $500 with everything, right in that ballpark.
Sure.
170 if we did hard case. This is a great guitar.
Yeah.
And I do have a few others, you know, if you want, you know, if you decide to spend a little bit more, you know, if that amount doesn't, like, if you're like, I think I can hit that. We do have some more affordable instruments. one is virtually the exact same guitar, and this one actually does have electronics in it. It's a more affordable instrument, but we could do that one in the 260 range. So, but that was, you know, that is the volume is a pretty major leap.
Okay.
This one does have electronics in it, so it would give you that option.
Mhm.
And I do sell a lot of these still, beginning guitars.
Mhm.
A lot of parents who bring their children in that want to learn these. And there's nothing wrong with these, not at all.
Okay.
Still works.
Yeah.
You know? These look nice.
Yeah.
This is a spruce top. It's a solid top, laminated back and sides. 99% of the guitars out there built, this is the way they're built.
Sure.
Laminated back and sides. They're awesome guitars. And the wall hangers that I was talking about are these, just so you kind of get an idea. That's all there is to it.
Okay.
Comes with a couple of nice big old long screws, run it into a stud, and it makes the guitar hanging on the wall. It looks really nice.
Yeah.
If you have company over, you know, you never know who might pick one of those things up. Happens
Yeah.
to me all the time. Have company come by. Oh man, you know.
Yeah.
Most of my friends know I play, so they never just walk in and
Sure.
come to my place. But
Sure.
yeah. And we also have some, you know, like this particular guitar, it's the exact same version as that. It's just got, you know, the nice sunburst color. It is a spruce top, so it's virtually identical to that. But then, of course, the lacquer finish and all that stuff just looks really nice.
Yeah.
And that one's going to be in the 650 range
Yeah.
for that one. You know, so if you feel like you want to step up a little bit, we can definitely go there with you. We've got plenty. One of my favorite instruments that we've got here are these little, they're basically a cargo guitar, is what they call them. Those things are awesome.
Yeah.
They're in the 750 range, price-wise. Those things are killer.
Yeah.
I think part of what I love about them is the split headstock like that. That does something. Martin is very famous for building instruments like that, and they're like one of the top of the food chain guitar manufacturers. Those things just have such a great voice, and they're small body, but the neck scale and everything is the same as that guitar. So, you know, it's other things to think about, you know. And this one here is a jumbo, big old
Yeah.
body on that one.
Yeah.
And these tend to have, and it's a cedar top, so it's a slightly different appearance. But see how I get my hair. thing is part of what you get if you purchase a guitar here is that you can bring it back in after you've had it for a couple of months, and we'll do a health checkup on it.
Okay.
If you take it from here to your home, the environment's different, like I said, moisture, heat, all that stuff. It's a piece of wood. It'll change a little
Yeah.
bit. So we make sure that everything's still hitting on all eight.
Sure.
It's a service that we provide.
Okay.
I always recommend if you own a guitar, take it in and have it set up every 1 or 2 years. Let somebody that knows set it up, and it'll stay consistent. The string action won't get real high. And the other thing is that it'll take you about 6 weeks for your fingers to stop bleeding. It literally takes about 6 weeks for you to build calluses up, and that's if you play every day. So give yourself some time, and if your fingers are burning and you feel like they're burning, play through it.
Okay.
You'll do yourself a favor because that'll stop, and then every time you pick it up, you won't have that going on. So that just a little insight into what you're going to experience when you get rid of it. It's going to hurt a little bit.
Yeah. Kind of like the jungle a little bit.
him. Yeah. Haven't seen you in a while, probably last year.
Yeah, yeah. It was before we ever started playing, and I've been paid very close attention to that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is that the mini jumbo?
Yep.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite guitars in the store.
Yeah, the cedar tops really
Oh,
have that
so
nice,
warm.
nice tone.
So what's the price on this?
What's that?
What's the price on this one then?
Oh,
You can answer that.
that one's gonna be right around $3.99.
$3.99.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You wanna take that home today?
Yeah.
Nice. Cool. All right. Now we talked a little bit about some accessories you might want to do. We want to do a smart
Yeah.
tuner on that, and I think of that. Now, what about doing a bag and a wall hanger, any of that kind of stuff?
I think I'm gonna hold off for now, but I'll probably start that.
All right. All right. Let's just send you home with a smart tuner also.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay. That string lighter right there. There you go. Let me borrow that thing. I'm gonna hold this thing down for you.
Okay.
License. One. Now, picks are an important choice that you're going to make. One of the most important guitar playing choices you'll ever make is what pick you like. And I recommend trying out a couple of different thicknesses of them, just because you'll fall in love with one and the other ones you won't really like that much, and that's fine. But you got to try a few
Sure.
to really get that good solid choice. So. Let's see what you got. Okay.
One of each.
One of each. All right.
Oh
That's
yeah.
a good, absolutely great choice.
All right. Oh.
Am I helping you?
Holding it down for you. I'm gonna set this over here.
Okay.
I can come to your house too. You find a guitar you like today?
Yeah, I think so.
You're on one of that jumbo.
Oh yeah. I've got touch the hole in the middle. Yeah. Yeah, we've got bags up here and then individual things.
Hard to find.
Well, you better load up while you're in town here. If you get desperate, you can always drop us a line. We'll throw them in the mail.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna get them. Thanks.
You'd be amazed at how many people that grew up here do that. You know, with everything. They come bring their car stereos here. I'm planning on it. What can I do for you? Okay. All right. Sounds good, man.
Federal, all of that, whiskers up 30596.
Oh, you found our new, yeah, the new line of straps is awesome too. I think you're gonna like this.
Yeah. That looks pretty good. A little G string.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Marshall, I think, when he came back, I mean, I don't know, 10 years ago or something, asked me about clear tone strings. And the guy that we get these straps from and these Kaiser cables have been trying, and Starpix have been trying to sell them to me for a long time. And I kind of went, Marshall, we're bringing them in.
Using them ever since we got them. Old Marky yours. They really are nice. If you've ever played coated strings, sometimes they get that, they just don't feel like the strings are broken. And those, you won't even notice. There's nothing, they did a fantastic job with those things. And they do give you a longevity. Here's a receipt for those. Give me a card.
156.92. We got some smaller slabs too.
Oh, there's a big one.
This looks like something Stu came up with something. Hey,
Yeah.
Dutch.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, Tyler. Now, the big, most important thing is you need to pick that thing up and play it.
Yeah.
Every single day. Don't let a day go by. Make time for it. Get up early in the morning. Get on the guitars. Put your time in. YouTube is a wonderful learning tool. Tons of great teachers on there. If you feel like you need to do some lessons, you know where I'm at. I'd be happy to take on another student. I'll be here. I'm here Monday through Friday. I have days usually when sped times available to study.
Okay.
If you ever want to take that course, be sure to call me. I charge $43 a month.
Okay.
One lesson a week for half an hour. I'm
Okay.
local to me.
Okay.
If not, I didn't do my job.
Sure.
Right? All right.
People that know about them love them. You know, there was a buddy of mine that's a professional musician who called me from California.
Well, there you go.
Thanks, man.
Just
Your new
thought I loved
baby.
it
Yeah.
last summer.
Congratulations
Yeah.
on your new guitar.
He's been
Yeah, thanks
calling
for
me
all your help, man.
Billy Martin
Be great.
50 years. Have you ever heard of T-Thon?
Yeah.
I got 50
Yeah.
up
Well,
here in
thanks
my
again.
car.
Yeah, you're welcome. You have
Yeah.
your kids sing
They're
them
the
too?
best guitar
Yep,
I've
I
ever
grab 'em.
played. You know?
Okay.
Thank you
Wonderful.
very much.
All right, yeah, and bring that back. If you keep playing, bring it back in a month or 2 months.
Okay.
Let me take a look at it.
All right.
Okay?
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Okay. Perfect.
All right, brother.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too.
They're great. There goes
Shave
one right now.
All right. All right, so new guitar owner in the world. That's awesome. All right. Let's get this last string on here.
Pushed everything else out. It's just
And
so hard to beat, you know, for the money.
Good money and sales.
I think we
there
sold
we
more
go.
records than every other players.
We want to be at C.
Where it's supposed like that way even. You know, I'm taking risks.
Hey,
Yeah.
how you doing?
I don't tune to C very often. This is gonna be fun. It's so weird to tune a guitar like this. Very, very, very strange. Whew, these low pitches are just odd. All right. Oh, and forgive me for taking a. He picked up a. It's a Teton 105 JNT, which is a jumbo acoustic guitar, Teton brand, and beautiful guitar. Yeah, it was really cool. A new guitar player. Well, he said he played back when he was in high school, and he went off to college and didn't play much, and now he's back and playing again. Oh, I forgot I left that ladder out. That's pretty cool.
You talking to me or?
No, the guitar.
Oh yeah, it was great. Couple of decent customers back to back, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, so I can already see that the springs on this, because I've gone with three springs in the back of this instead of the original 4, that the springs are not holding. So we're going to go ahead and start adjusting the vibrato system on this. I'm going to tighten this down a little. I did loosen this up a lot when I pulled the springs off of here, because they were tight, super tight. So I'm just making a wild guess, and now the strings are probably very sharp. So we still got to bring this this down a bit, although I do want to leave it floating, so let's we'll see how that feels. Oh, what guitar? Yeah, Jam Pro. Charlie, hello, brother. I'm assuming you are a Reaper expert at this point. Had some very good help with that. It's great to see. Give me a moment. I've got to step away. I've got to go finish up some work up front that I did on that sale. I'll be right back, and we'll let you, again, I know this has been kind of a hit and miss, but when I'm here, I gotta stay on task.
Right? Yes. Yes.
Woohoo! Yes, I'll tell you, Claudia. Yeah. I learned today not to plug my phone into the computer to charge while using Reaper. Why is that? Mine's constantly plugged into my computer. Of course, I have a brand new computer, so that could be C standard. All right. Yeah, I just wanted to, I had to make sure I was going to tune this to C standard. Let's grab a bar, and I want to adjust this. You'll notice on this bridge, there's a little adjustment screw here for the vibrato bar. That was not included when the instrument was brought in, so we'll have to replace that. I want him to be able to use the vibrato system on this. Okay, it's not a metric, I don't think. Maybe it's a standard. One of these little teeny standard. No. Gotta find the right hex key. Let's see, maybe this is it. Is this the one? There's little hex keys all over on these instruments that you just never even know that they're there unless you know. Unless you know. It has a crank on it. Rip your head off. Oh boy, that's a bummer. Well, you probably have an older PC that's doing that. I plug mine. I have my phone on my charger most of the time when I'm using Reaper, and I don't have that going on. That's, I think. Come on. What hex key are you? Well, I've tried 4 different hex keys here. Now, come on. Is this the right one? Come on, be it. Be the one. What is that? Where's my flashlight? And my flashlight's missing. Yeah. Wonder where my flashlight is. I usually have a red flashlight that's always in my toolbox, and amazing, it's not there today. I wonder why that is. What are you? Ooh, you're the teeny one. This should be the correct. This should be the correct hex key for this. And it is. Alright, so we're going to loosen this up a little bit. It's the first one I tried and it just didn't want to go. So I'm loosening that up, see if I can get this bar to fit proper. Alright, that does. There it is. That'll work. I'm going to bend this bar up a little bit so that he's got more throw on that bar. And let's see. Yeah, that fits in there nicely. Is that guitar smash? That's a... yeah, it's a one... What is this? It's a... it's like a... It's just smaller than a 1/16 standard. It might actually be a 16th. I don't know, but this hex key fits it. They get so small I couldn't tell you. Let me see if this. Yeah, I can't tell. Yeah, this one's working also. I believe it's a 1/16 inch hex key. Yeah, it's right where you left it. See, I don't. The difference is my toolbox gets used on Saturdays and Sundays when I'm not here, and so if something's missing, it's usually because somebody else borrowed it and didn't put it back. That's usually the case. Okay, so we've got the strings on this bad boy, and I've got the vibrato about where I like it. So let's check our, and the string action's looking really pretty solid at this point. And I want to check our neck relief on this one. And my capo. There's my capo. So let's see what kind of neck relief we've got now that we've got the strings on it and we've got it tuned up to pitch. I'm going to check our tuning one last time before. Made a subtle adjustment on the tuning. We're looking pretty darn good here. And let's check our neck relief. Here we go. Oh, sorry. Gotta talk to my camera guy. It'd be great to hire a camera guy, wouldn't it? Ooh. Boy, the neck relief, having made that subtle adjustment, there's a little too much neck relief. So we're going to tighten the truss rod ever so slightly here. Give it a little tighten up there. And we'll see what happens here. Just making that little move. Perfect. Now we're perfect. So we've got good neck relief. Good neck relief, good string action. I'm going to check that one more time here. And I'm just checking it here at the 12th fret. And got nice low string action. Yeah. We're looking really good. This thing was set up pretty nicely. I may have set this up before it got beat, I don't know, but boy, the string action and the repair work that I did didn't change a bunch of the adjustments on it, so that's good. What do you say we plug it in, see what she sounds like? 'Cause this thing's awful darn close to being ready to play some rock and roll. Let's see how she feels. I'm gonna have to with the strings being so loose on here, yeah, thank you. Let's see what she sounds like. Is that? Here we go. All right. So it's think. And holding tune. All right. So I think that this guitar is in pretty good shape. Um, with the strings this loose, it's really easy to bend them sharp. Yeah, there's a hole in my yeah, dude, I would love to. I have a bag with a 2 AE1 bodies, lenses, doublers, and every cooking filter. Oh yeah, nice. You know, I've done some on the road service work in local communities around here because people don't always make it to La Grande, Oregon. So I have to go out and sell myself, if you will. So I go to them sometimes, and hoping that that will bring more people in, because it's amazing when you spend an hour with somebody's acoustic guitar, you know, that they've owned for 12 years and have never had it set up, and you make just a couple of small adjustments on it, and man, and a new set of strings. It's amazing the feedback you get. So yeah, it'd be great if I could travel around and do this kind of work for folks. And I do once in a great while. It doesn't happen all the time, but I do that. I do that. Okay, so I've got to intonate this thing, adjust the pickup height, and yeah, make sure she's ready to go home. This thing's pretty darn close. Let me check my message here. Let me see, Kyle. There he is, C standard. All right, thank you, brother. Appreciate that. Cool. So let's do a little quick intonation setup on this thing. We'll see how bad the intonation is. We've cross-tuned this thing to C standard, and we have put 11 gauge strings on this thing. So let's see. Let me see what happens here. We'll get you so you can see what I'm up to. I think that angle might be good. I'll go ahead and put my strobe tuner up here. I don't know how well you can see it. I'm pointed at the ceiling now, aren't I? Now, there we go. We'll get this. I'll move the tuner way over here. So we are very, very sharp. Probably the entire instrument is going to be very sharp. So let's see how far we can go with it. I don't even know, given the tuning and the string gauge. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this thing. We might run out of intonation room. Yeah, we're still sharp, and what you can see I'm running into here is the spring has been squished down to the point that I can't move that saddle back any further. So we'll pretty darn close. I like to get closer than that. We may end up having to pull a spring out of there. We're a little sharp. We'll see if we can get these. We'll see if we can get these other ones in, and then we'll decide how far we want to go. You may even want to go to a heavier gauge string on this. Still a little bit sharp. We got the A string, the F string. So we're going to be sharp all the way across this thing. Now, when I was playing those chords, I could tell that the intonation wasn't correct. So there we go. We're a little bit sharp. Bring that back a bit. The old intonation setup. Boy, with strings, boy, with these strings this loose, it's amazing how delicate these moves are. Still a little bit sharp. There we go. Still a bit sharp. I'm going to give it one more nudge. We want this to be just exactly right. Still ever so slightly sharp. With these strings tuned so low, boy.
If he played the strings, the Lakers are going to win. But he's due for another better game tomorrow. I mean, it's so. Why do you think that can't happen? I mean, not that like you said, you go from 40 to 15. A great player. How does that happen? A great player does not have
Definitely sharp.
very talented, who's inconsistent, who have those variations.
There's a couple rules you can follow. I'll save that for myself because I like to work. When you're doing an intonation setup with respect to the position of the all right, let's check our pickup height. The low E string, I would like to, well, the low E string, the low C string, I think, I'm going to go ahead and leave it for now. Plug this thing in and check our pickup height. Let's check our pickup height and see what's happening with that. The volume controls and everything really works nicely. Really work nicely on this. So we're going to check our pickup height and see how much adjustment is needed. Definitely too close on the bass side. On the treble side, they are absolutely perfect. So we're going to have to probably tweak each side of them a little bit because I got to move this bass side quite a ways. They're way too close. When I say that, they're about 1/4 the distance they should be. Ooh. So if oh boy, there's a reason for that. I can't lower them any further. Alright, so Paul Reed Smith, I don't know. I can't get this down at 4/30 seconds. So we're going to be a little bit close on the bass side. We'll see if this one will drop. I'm going to keep them both the same, but they're ever so slightly too close. There we go. So we're about 3.5, 30 seconds of an inch, and the treble strings, and these are 3/30 seconds. So we're looking real good. This side is a little bit close, but we're going to go ahead and let that rest. That's going to require Yeah, I can tell this pickup, there's screws that come through the bottom of the neck, and I'm guessing that those screws might be preventing this pickup from dropping. Might be. Alright, so now that we're all happy, we're gonna grab some good stuff here, because this thing has a whammy bar, indeed. I'm gonna grab some of this good stuff. I know you guys love it. Nut sauce. All right, we're gonna hit these strings. With a little spot of nut sauce. And then
$50.
I'm gonna go out and I've got to take the whammy bar out to my bench out in the shop and bend the whammy bar so that it's got a little bit more room to move the strings when it's being whammied. Because right now it's awful darn, it's very low to the whole. Takes a little teeny bit of that stuff, and we'll see. So what I need to do is take this bar. I'm going to take this bar out to the shop real quick. I'm going to bend up on this a little bit right here at this 90. So give me a minute. I will be right back, and I'll bend this to my heart's content. And we'll see how that does with respect to the whammy bar working properly. And I'll give you another look at this beautiful guitar. I'll be right back.
If I don't do it right now, or I'll remember 11:30 tonight. Oh yeah, I'm not rushing you guys at all. We got a bunch of new patches too in this trip.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I guess people put them on their denim jackets or sleeve backpacks. I don't know if I'd go as far as this, but they're really cute.
You haven't seen it yet, man.
Oh yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's all kinds of cool stuff.
Okay, we bent the whammy bar. Let's see what this looks like. Yeah, that's going to give me a bit more throw on that white knob on this. I might pull this off of here and put a black one on it, and I also might shorten the bar a little bit. We'll see what happens here. But let's see how she behaves now. Now that I've made all of these adjustments to this guitar. I know you're probably getting dizzy, seasick, the whole 9 yards. And we'll see what she sounds like with a little bit of distortion. How's that? strings and does not like the tuning. Guitar not holding tune at all. I'm going to go ahead and give these strings another stretch. And they're tuned. The strings are tuned so low that my snark can't hear the pitch. So we have to tune with harmonics. This is every time I'm pulling on this G string, which is a D sharp. Now we're getting a little more. And the B string is actually a G. So I'm feeling like we may want to go to a set of 13s on this to tune down to this pitch. Any opinions or thoughts on that? This is tuned to C standard. I mean, every time I stretch this one now, it's going down almost a full. It's going flat to F sharp. And I have to question whether or not the locking machine head, the locking tuner on this is not moving. And it probably was. And so I think that maybe what we're running into here is that there could be a problem with being able to tune a guitar this low with Paul Reed Smith's designed locking tuners. I'm not sure, I'm not certain, not 100%. I could have done something wrong. Yeah, this machine head isn't even yeah, the string is slipping in this. This might be a learning experience for me. I don't think you can do this with these types of locking machine heads, which is why Paul Reed Smith does not put these on here anymore. This is unfortunately a failure on his part. It is a great idea, but I don't know what I can do. Let me get my light here. I'm gonna see, there should be a cam in there someplace. I think right, yeah, right there. Let's, okay. Let's see if this doesn't solve it. I may have done something wrong there, but we'll find out. Hmm. Well, maybe we just needed to adjust a little. There we go. Okay, so we got to be sure when we do these. There's a cam in this machine head that actually makes it all work properly. So that was why we were having some tuning issues. I don't work on these very often at all. So you know, forgive me. I see these machine heads very, very seldom. I broke one on a guitar once. That was not fun. I'm going to have to learn a little bit about doing this on one of these Paul Reed Smiths. This thing definitely needs a bunch more work, or way heavier strings. They don't. There's a little set screw on that, but the way these work, I'm not that set screw. All that does is like keep the whole locking mechanism from popping out of off of the guitar. Give me a second. Okay. Yeah, there's like a cam in there. I can't tell what that little set screw does. It doesn't seem to do anything that I'm aware of. I don't ever remember needing it to lock those strings in. Because you tighten that thing down, it's not like there's a ball bearing that it pushes on and pinches the string. Not a fan of these. I never have been. Sometimes they work great, but I've got that coupled with the string tension is so light because it's C standard. I just don't know if there's enough pressure there on certain strings for it to actually be able to do what it's engineered to do. And there might be wear and tear on this. Not to mention the life that this guitar has led. Those things could all be broken. I don't know. I might need to contact PRS and see what they have to say about this. Let's put a lot of time into this guitar to try and it will not stay in tune. Will not. So I don't know if and also the strings are like rubber bands on this thing. I feel like if this young man wants his guitar tuned to C standard, I think it might not be a bad idea to put some 12s. That was exactly my thought, Hugh. Thank you. Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna have to do that. They're too rubber bandy. They're just too loose, which means I got to start over again with the intonation and neck relief and all that stuff. But that's welcome to my world. I don't tune guitars to C standard very often. I have software that lets me tune to C standard, if you know what I mean. So, yeah. Well, I should probably get on with the rest of my day. I've got another guitar that I want to get finished up for another student today. I was going to set that one up today, but I had this one on. And also, you know, not that the machine heads, not that this had any impact on the machine heads, but all of the repair work that's been done on this with respect to the crack that's been repaired here and here. You know, this guitar has definitely had a rough life so far, and the repairs, I believe, are definitely solid. Nothing's moving. I'm not seeing the string action change or anything like that. So I'm feeling very confident about that, and it's set up and dried over the weekend. You know, we'll see what happens with this one, but hopefully we can get this thing working right for this young man. And I probably need to learn a little bit more about these types of locking machine heads, because again, I rarely ever see them. You won't find those on any guitars anymore. They discontinued making them, probably for this reason, years ago. I don't know, Hugh, when's the last time you've seen one of these types of machine heads? I would assume you don't see them very often, or ever anymore. And I know Hugh does a lot of the same kind of work that I do. In fact, often doing the same stuff. When's the last time you saw Paul Reed Smith with these types of locking machine heads on it? A while ago, yeah. Well, I appreciate y'all hanging with me. I know I had to leave there for a little bit and take care of selling a guitar. There's another guitar owner in the world, and I'm having the same issue on this one that I have. It says that I'm not getting enough information, so probably locking up a little bit. So anyhow, probably good timing for me to go. It's funny how I get this little message on here: error, YouTube not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. As such, viewers will open widget. As such, viewers will experience buffering. So if you're experiencing buffering, the stream status poor, and nothing has changed. Yeah, Hugh, thanks for dropping in today. Everybody else, thank you for stopping by. Have a great day.